Insurance is a vast, complex, yet a fascinating industry. While the need for it is often overlooked, it constantly proves to be the pillar that stands to restore calm after chaos. This episode is brought to you by SHA Risk Specialists, a division of Santam, Africa's largest specialist liability insurance provider. I'm your host, Nontosugo Mhlungu, and we are on a quest to find the ultimate ambassador of the short-term insurance industry. Throughout the season, we'll see up-and-coming insurance professionals from across the country battle it out to become the insurance apprentice. Thanks to the lifting of COVID restrictions, we're glad to be back in full swing with our in-person format. This season is going to be like none other. From clashing characters to challenging curveballs and ruthless judges, the contestants will be tried and tested to their limits. This is The Insurance Apprentice Season 9.
My name is Kagisho. I'm a senior comm specialist for Old Mutual Insure.
My name is Marissa van der Westhuizen. I work at I2 Special Risks as a claims specialist.
My name is Ferguson Langenhoven. I come from I2 Special Risk and I am a business development consultant.
My name is Kyle Klopper. I work at Lombard Broker Partners and I'm a senior marketer in the Western Cape region.
My name is Deidre Hinnebury. I represent Santam Insurance and I'm currently a team manager in the First Notice of Loss Division.
My name is Elizabeth Ngarue. I work at Marsh Africa as a senior insurance specialist.
My name is Christopher Oppener and I work for Bright Insurance as the head of recoveries and liabilities in the claims team.
My name is Mutsama Koni. I work at Chubb Insurance South Africa and I'm a multinational client executive.
My name is Refilo Morabedi and I work at GIB Insurance Brokers. I work as an internal broker for the Film and Entertainment Division.
I believe I have what it takes to win the Insurance Apprentice because I work really hard, because I am passionate about the work that I do. I believe in the insurance industry. I believe that it plays such a pivotal role in the functioning of our society.
I entered the Insurance Apprentice because I want to challenge myself, and also I'm someone who works in a support function so I can provide ideas which haven't been presented to the table before.
I have what it takes to win the Insurance Apprentice because I've got a lot of experience. I'm quite confident and I believe that I will be a great ambassador to take the insurance industry to the next level.
I entered the Insurance Apprentice because I really wanted to challenge myself and to open myself up for more opportunities that the industry can offer.
I entered the Insurance Apprentice because from a career point of view, it would be a huge accomplishment to win this competition. What sets me apart from the other competitors is my keen ability to bring out the best in others.
I think I have what it takes to win the Insurance Apprentice because I'm passionate about the industry. I would love to be an insurance ambassador so I can educate people more on the industry and what the insurance does for them.
I think I have what it takes to win the Insurance Apprentice because I have the edge. I have an advantage in terms of my knowledge and experience. Sometimes my ambition actually scares me because I'm always looking for something that completely takes me out of my comfort zone.
I entered the Insurance Apprentice because I honestly wanted to see what the big fuss was about. I literally enjoy doing insurance and I think that's something rare. What sets me apart is my confidence. Getting into the top 10 is a big deal for sure.
There's a thin line between confidence and arrogance. I was at a broker for 8 years prior to moving across to the insurer's side, where I currently hold the position of senior marketer. I believe I have what it takes due to the experience that I built up over my career in the insurance industry.
Last week was quite intense. The challenges were completely out of our comfort zone.
It was very intimidating.
I was in a team of people that was arguing a lot.
I think we can just talk about things without having anything to sell.
We were not great.
I think my performance last week was not too bad.
When one of my team members got stuck, I managed to, take over from him. What my colleague here was saying was,
I definitely feel like my chances are quite high to take the whole competition. We have decided to look at the influences.
The contestant that stands out the most for me is Marissa. She's very composed.
I feel like Kakisho is my biggest threat. The reason being is he's very calm.
Knowing that I'm someone's biggest threat makes me feel good, but they shouldn't necessarily feel that way because we're here to all learn.
You've made it through to the next round.
I'm going to be coming out of my shell a little bit, so I'm just going to shock them a little bit.
Wow, we made it to the top 10, guys.
I can't believe it.
How was last week though? It was so intense.
Stressful. Last week's elimination was quite intense for me. I did come in trying to put my best foot forward and take a moment to enjoy the experience.
What was nice about it, we all stepped up to the challenge.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
judges were hectic.
Hectic. Our presentation didn't go well. And our group messed it up.
It's the same. We didn't finish, so I was really surprised. But I mean, it's the best feeling ever, honestly. Yeah.
My performance last week, I felt like I needed to do more. This week is to just put myself out there more. So if I have an idea, just getting that idea across to them and making them understand.
I'm honored here because there's a lot of great talent, and it was a little bit intimidating coming into a room with 30 other amazing people.
True.
But look at us now.
And one of us here is going to be the Insurance Apprentice 2023.
Just think about it. Think about
It could
it.
be you, it could be I.
Amazing, right?
I might be a little bit of an optimist, but I think we've got a good bunch.
There is no one individual who I feel as though that might be my downfall. It's an even playing field, and let's see how it goes. Feeling a bit nervous, believe it or not. But
You hide it well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. A lot is at stake, and representing a lot of people.
Who's looking forward to Judge Dredd?
I don't know if none of us have their knocks. I don't know anymore. I feel like they've been going, head to head with people who can be the meanest.
You think
So I don't know.
bad cop and Simon's good cop all of a sudden?
I feel like they're both bad cops.
Bad cop too, bad cop, worst cop.
I think it's important to be a team player in order to make sure that your team ends up on the top.
I think as much as you argue in a group, you need to minimize the arguments. This week, I'm planning on speaking up more. What I noticed last week was I didn't voice my views as I would have loved to.
What I plan on doing differently this week is actually applying myself more. I think I'm going to learn a lot, and I hope that you guys learn a thing or two from me.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'm already learning how to be calm from you.
All right, guys, so let's do this. Whatever the task is, we'll deal with it and we'll tackle it head on. Wishing you guys all the best of luck.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Good luck, everyone.
Hope to see you all next week. From networking to career advancement and personal brand development, the contestants reap countless professional gains by participating in the Insurance Apprentice. However, there is only one ultimate prize package for this year's winner. Let's take a look. This year's winner walks away with an all-expenses-paid trip to London to attend the Worldwide Broker Forum, sponsored by Lloyd's of London. 20,000 Rand in cash prizes from Tracker, Global Choices, and New National Assurance Company. The winner will also receive a travel voucher valued at 10,000 Rand from Bright Insurance, a tech prize from Genesis, a professional corporate photo shoot from AIG, as well as a suitcase from Emerald Risk Transfer. The Insurance Institute of South Africa is sponsoring the winner to attend the 2023 African Insurance Exchange in Sun City, and Sedgwick will be taking care of the winner's accommodation. This year's Insurance Apprentice will receive a 15,000 Rand educational voucher from Mopark, together with access to an insightful leadership development masterclass thanks to Patent Personnel, while MUA Insurance Acceptances and I2 Special Risks will also be gifting the winner with special prizes. Each week, the contestants will receive a task briefing from our episode sponsor. The contestants will then be split into two groups where they will have to work together to brainstorm and present their solution. For the next 6 weeks, the contestants will not only face grueling challenges and critical time pressure, they will also have to face the judges.
I'm Simon Coleman and I'm the head judge on the Insurance Apprentice. I'm known as Judge Dredd on the show not because of my hairstyle, but rather the way that I interact with some of the contestants. I do expect a very high standard of research, of presentation, of teamwork. And if they don't deliver that, they're going to see the ugly side of Judge Dredd, and unfortunately probably means they're going to be leaving the competition early.
My name is Nox Lamini. I'm a co-judge for the Insurance Apprentice. Why am I known as Cruella? I think I bring very hard-hitting questions to the apprentices, and it may look mean, but when they really reflect on those questions, they come back with better rounded solutions and presentations going forward.
This being season 9, we plan on taking it to the absolute next level. This crop of Insurance Apprentice candidates are going to be put through some of the most rigorous tasks that have ever been set by our task sponsors. They're going to be exhausted. We're going to push them to the max. I'm going to be pressing them at every possible opportunity. We'll see how they do. Good morning, contestants, and welcome to this, the 9th season of the Insurance Apprentice. Now, you've all been waiting a long time for this competition to begin, but here we are, and soon it'll all be up to you. But before we get into that, I have to, of course, thank Old Mutual Insure for providing us with this incredible studio that we'll be doing all of our tasks in. I'd also like to thank SHA Risk Specialists for sponsoring our task today, and a special welcome to Alicia Naransamy sitting on my right, and last but not least, Nox Dlamini. Welcome back, Nox.
Thank you, Simon.
So congratulations to all of you. We had almost 160 hopefuls when we started this process. And here we stand, the finalists going into the Insurance Apprentice for 2023. But you would have noticed, of course, that instead of the usual 10 contestants, we're -1. There are only 9 of you. Now the reason for that is, unfortunately, Shivani had to drop out of the contest for personal reasons. But being that we need a nice even number of 10, we're going to be bringing somebody back in. Somebody who was next in line. Let's take a look at who that is.
Hallo Wayne. Hoe gaan dit?
Goed en jy?
Goed, dankie. Hallo almal. Net kom sê ek's jammer jy het nou die top 10 gemaak nie. Maar iemand het onttrek en jy is volgende op die lys.
Janster.
Welkom by TIA Top 10.
Making it into the top 10 is really surreal, especially after what happened in the first episode. And yeah, I don't have words now. It's just emotions at the moment. Ek het nie woorde nie. Winning the Insurance Apprentice Season 9 would be epic. I think everybody loves an underdog and a comeback story. But I also think for the little guy, for the broker that I'm there to represent, it's going to mean a lot that we can hold our own in the industry.
All right, let's bring him in. Wayne, welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
This is not your first rodeo, as they say, is it?
No, it's not.
So you made it by the skin of your teeth.
Well,
let's take a look at what happened in the last season. Wayne, this is not your first time entering the Insurance Apprentice. Probably the first time we're seeing you on camera, though.
Correct, yes.
Okay, how many times before?
I think I've entered 3 times.
Future pandemics can exclude, like all insurers at this moment, will exclude the SARS virus or any variant of it.
If we eliminate someone now, one team will only have 2 members. I couldn't decide this as a judge. So I'm actually leaving the decision to the winner of Rapid Risk. Wayne, you need to tell me if you would like to eliminate the lowest scoring contestant right now.
I choose to eliminate someone now, Simon.
Wayne made that decision quite quickly, that he wanted to be in a team of just 2 people.
Yeah.
Wise decision?
Scary decision. Wayne, I think we're gonna be out of time.
This is tough, eh?
If you keep looking down on the page, you'll see policy 2.
Oh.
Maybe this is where 3 contestants would have been better than 2, I guess.
I'm afraid your time with us ends here. Goodbye. All right, Wayne. So what are you going to do differently to what you did in the last season when you were so abruptly eliminated?
I'm not going to fire anyone this year, Simon.
Yes, you did make a bit of a bad decision there. Okay, so this is of course our first time back in person, and I want to underline something for all of you. This is definitely going to be the toughest season that we've had. The tasks that have been set are way more complex, and I'd like you to treat every task as if it is your last, because it might very well be. Now, there's nothing to say that only one person goes home each day either. You need to bring your A game from today and every day onwards. And now I'm going to hand you over to Alicia to brief you.
Thank you, Simon. I'm Alicia Narain-Sami from SHA Risk Specialist, which is a division of Suntime Limited. For today, you are employed as risk advisors to the board of a pharmaceutical company. We, the judges, will be playing parts of the directors of their company. Now guys, we've just listed on the stock exchange and we're developing groundbreaking patented malaria vaccine. We have, however, recently suffered a cyber attack involving a denial of service, which essentially has locked us out of our systems. So us as the board, we would like to understand what our steps going forward are to be. For example, are we going to pay the ransom? What are the legal considerations that we need to take into account here? And are we going to engage with the hackers, or are we sort of going to handle this internally? We'd also like to know what insurance policies we currently have in place to protect us. Now, we do realize that we did not renew the cyber policy, so that is currently not in effect. But what are the financial implications of not having a cyber policy in place? And finally, what are the consequences to us as a board personally? Can we be personally liable for this event?
Thank you, Alicia. So the way we'll do this, we're going to split you into 2 teams. I want you to go away, choose a name for your team, preferably something catchy, and I also want you to choose a team leader. Now, Knox, you've been in this position a little while ago, not to give away your age or anything. Any wise words as a former winner for our contestants?
Yeah, sure. First, I think I'd like to just start off by saying well done to all the contestants. You actually made it here. And each of you stands before us today as the very best in the insurance industry. We're certainly looking forward to seeing why, and this is your platform to showcase that.
Right, thanks, Knox. Good luck to all of you. Your time starts now.
I feel so excited about today's task. It's something that I'm quite familiar with.
It covers risk and how you need to manage people's data and legal obligations and financial commitments as well.
So I think let's look at what the task requires us to do.
So the task
You are the risk committee of Farmer Bites, and your task is to report back to the board.
There's a lot of pressure, especially given the short amount of time we have to delve into quite a complex subject. Someone now has access to this patent.
Obviously, we're in this situation because we don't have the cover.
I'm just gonna take you through whether or not we should pay a ransom. Our decision as your risk advisors is that you should not. The likelihood of having a full recovery of your data is quite low. I feel that my group is quite an amazing group of smart intellectuals. We have already come up with a framework.
It is important that we are very transparent and proactive with what we share. The presentation prep is going well. There's a lot of back and forth because we want to get it right, and it's something that we're quite interested in, so we're learning a lot as we go along the way.
Directly as the company, should they address or speak to the hackers? I don't think they should do that. As a group, not everyone specializes in financial lines, so trying to grasp the concept around what is covered, what isn't covered, we're finding it a little bit difficult to navigate.
We do not have the internal expertise to negotiate and contain this threat. Do we believe that we should pay the ransom? There are no laws against paying the ransom. We have a more than a 50% chance of recovering our data.
Today's task has thrown me and I think the majority of our team into the deep end. None of us have real experience with cyber liabilities.
Presentation prep's been hectic. It's a team dynamic. We're dealing with the board of directors that have suffered this breach. How do we go about the next steps?
The first issue is whether there are any insurance policies. No, there isn't one because it was never renewed.
Yes. The board took the decision not to renew, even though we had given them the advice to renew. Right? It means, and every director could be held liable in their personal capacity for the loss. Okay, so those are the two things to look at.
It's our first time working together, and so we are navigating personalities, ways in which to speak to each other. But the only person that can sue the directors and their personal liability is the company.
So disagree, the shareholders that can sue.
Very often as a legal professional, you come across people who aren't particularly versed in a particular legal subject, and so comments are made through feelings. My experience has been to let the person air what they believe the law to be and then correct them after that. So it's law. Shareholders through shareholder activism can sue you as well via the company.
It wasn't a difference of opinion, it was just understanding the technicalities of how a claim would work, and it's always good to have different sides of the fence.
I've got a name for us. It's Risk and Us. What? Risk Us. Yes. Now we are on the final stages of putting our presentation together. The only one thing that they were not open to was the group name that I had suggested. Crisis Risk Management.
It's a little bit generic, to be honest. But I'm just thinking.
I do think that we need to just get a name
and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Well, we can still think of a name as we are going along.
Should we pay the ransom? From the research we've done, we believe that paying the ransom is going to be the most beneficial option.
Stop everything you're doing right now. Okay, we have an emergency on our hands. The media just got wind of the data breach and it's everywhere. Everyone knows about it. We've got shareholders calling us. Our reputation is taking a serious knock.
Guys, it's all over. The shareholders are calling me as we speak. Share prices are tanking. I need a comms crisis plan. I need you guys on top of this ASAP.
When the judges came into the room, I feel like we were just thrown in the deep end. Literally, the PowerPoint presentation was done.
Price of R4.48. Today, it has dropped to 3.7 Rand and still falling.
They handed us the document and I realized, oh yes, this is real.
Third party has requested a very large ransom to not release staff information and the patented malaria vaccine formula out into the public domain. And these rumors alone have already had a detrimental effect on the company's share price.
Forget everything we just worked on for the last
3 hours.
For the last 3 hours. Now we have to think. Okay, now we have to think proactively about containing the breach, getting information out there, as well as possible losses. The information's leaked about the breach, and our shares are falling as a company. So we need to come up with solutions.
We cannot. Give them a high-level response. We have to be very direct.
So again, the points to consider going forward are going to have to be like ramped up. It's no longer, oh, you should do that. It's like with immediate effect.
And it has
you
to be
need
done
to do this.
now.
It has to be sorted out.
So it's a bit intense. There has been leakage to the media regarding the exposure of the data, which the board of directors are severely under pressure. We need to act with immediate effect.
We cannot confirm that information has been leaked.
We can confirm that no information has been leaked as of yet, as our risk assessment team is busy dealing with containment of the breach.
Okay.
And so we can still contain the breach if we pay the ransom.
I don't think we need to re-strategize anything. Everything just flows as it already is.
Let's find a way as to how, as we're presenting, how we can incorporate this new information into what we're already advising the board of directors.
How are you feeling, Rafil? You're looking a bit stressed. Not good.
Not feeling good.
Can
I come and help you?
To me, the team's done well. The content that we've come up with is great. However, when you're standing in front of the judges, things kind of slip your mind quite quickly.
This is the time when people need to step up and bring what they have to the party.
What is the name of this team?
Risk Keepers.
And who's the leader?
I am Chris.
All right, over to you.
Thank you so much, Board of Directors, for meeting with us today. We really appreciate your time. We've called an urgent meeting based on the cybersecurity incident that has occurred at Farmerbyte. Now, we understand the urgency and we want to assure you that we are taking plan and action to ensure that we try and mitigate this as soon as possible. With me today, as part of Team Risk Keepers, I have Kyle, Refilwe Ferguson, and our leader, Chris. Now, not to waste your time, board, to get straight into it, first and foremost, we don't have cyber security risk.
Wait,
and
why? Why is that?
The reasoning behind this board of directors was because we decided at the last renewal not to take it.
We? Who's this we that you refer to?
We are the risk advisors, and we did put a recommendation through that we will not be going forward, and as the board of directors, it was agreed that we will not be taking it through.
Sorry, wait, why?
So it was established at that point in time we had sufficient IT controls in place.
No, clearly we didn't. So how did this happen? I mean, what's even going on here?
We've got plans and actions, we've got the next steps forward, or rather going forward, in order for us to mitigate this as soon as possible.
So what are those steps?
Yes, can we just get to it, please?
Can we actually just get to what we're supposed to do? Like, every second that you're taking up, our share price is tanking.
Absolutely. So we've already engaged with we had cyber cover previously. We've already engaged with the previous, with the insurer where the cyber policy was. We've engaged with their stakeholders and their response teams, their public relation management teams, to have a statement ready for us just to sign off on, because what's going to happen is it's going to come out of our own pocket.
Look, at this point in time, I'm only interested in one thing.
Yes.
What is our personal liability relating to this incident as the board?
Okay, so the personal liability, that's already...
I think, let me address that, board member. So from a personal liability or director's personal liability point of view, in terms of the Companies Act, you have a composite skill of care.
I mean, we do know this. We're directors.
Unfortunately, the risk management planning was very poor in this regard. So we have made plans to go through all the risks.
So we've been misled about our own preparedness. What good will it do for us now to go through the risks now?
It does seem a bit to me like the digital horse has already bolted.
Yeah, to do that as a proactive measure.
But that's fine going forward. This incident has happened now.
Yeah.
So what do we do now? Our shareholders are phoning us saying that they're going to sue us. What's happening now?
Wait, so you just told us that the risk management planning was poor?
Yeah.
So you come here, you give us recommendations, and then you admit it was poor?
Yes, so that we have...
Why shouldn't we fire you right now?
Are you saying then that if a company has a D&O policy in place, that the board is kind of in the clear if something goes wrong?
No.
No.
That's not what we say.
I don't understand this. How would that actually play out? How could we still be on the hook if we had D&O cover? I mean, if we had cyber insurance?
Well, if you allow me, if you had cyber insurance...
Sorry, let's give Rafilwe a chance to speak.
I do believe that the DNO cover, the cyber insurance cover would have been able to also address your media risks as well as other risks in terms of exposure of information. And we also believe that the POPI Act now has more of a stringent a restriction in terms of how information is put out. So now that this has been exposed to the public, cyber could have addressed all of those issues if you had it in place.
Sorry, can I just jump in here? I mean, all that aside, you realize the severity of this. We're about to launch a vaccine to save people's lives, inevitably. And that IP is potentially being leaked. We're also talking business interruption here. We're talking manufacturing plant shutdown.
So unfortunately, in this situation, there's no going back from the hack, unfortunately. The information is out there. What matters now is what we do next. And that will definitely change the trajectory of the whole matter.
Deirdre, what do we do now?
So like we mentioned, it was put forward through, or rather we did put that forward.
So you're blaming us?
May I speak to the quantum?
Yes, of course, please do.
So from a quantum point of view, when it comes to cyber-related incidents, there are three types of costs. Your direct costs, so that being the cost to immediately mitigate. And according to our research by this IBM reports, the average cost of a data breach, for example, in South Africa, currently is 57 million rand.
Look, you suggested in your presentation material given to us earlier that we rush out the vaccine now to beat anyone else to the punch. Is anyone going to actually take this vaccine, given that we've got all this negative press hanging around us?
So we either lose complete market share and complete trust and have someone else maybe come in and change something slightly but using our patent because it's available on the dark web, or we go with it, we run with it, and we try and make sure that we are still the leaders because we knew what we're dealing with. We know what we've done and we know how close we are to this groundbreaking vaccine that will be released.
But if I could... Sorry, we do understand that we have lost that trust, but essentially the product itself will be groundbreaking, as Kyle has said. This is the first of its kind. Many people will not be opposed to the medical effects of it. Yes, we've had an information problem with it. We've had financial setbacks, but the medical side of it, that will definitely improve even the economy itself.
We want to stop this from going any further. So if there's any chance that we can resolve this issue by paying the ransom, and it's not illegal,
yes,
then why isn't that at the top of the list?
It's an undesirable business practice. And that
I'd say insolvency is a pretty undesirable risk too.
Can everyone just stop? We're sitting here debating and deliberating things that do not assist us in this moment. Now you mentioned crisis response. What's going to happen when we leave this meeting here right now?
The first thing you need to do as a company, you have a duty to report this breach to all the stakeholders, which are your employees, and as well as the rest of the shareholders.
Okay, and Rafila, and then what else do we do?
Report. That's the first thing, because those are the first people who are affected by this.
And then what happens after that? We need a plan, guys. That's what we hire you for.
The PR strategy.
I'm done. I can't.
Okay, that's a first. Right, listen, sorry, your presentation material is unclear. I think you've had enough opportunity to talk us through this. We've heard enough. You're dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you. I would have liked to answer more questions based on the way the questions were answered in terms of each person doing a popcorn approach.
There was a bit of overlap between Rafilwe and I and covering a similar topic.
As a question came, whoever grabbed the opportunity kind of took it.
It was a bit difficult to come out and answer what I wanted to because there's quite a few things I would have liked to say.
So it may have looked as if I was silent and retreating, but I will say a lion does not just pounce. He analyzes the situation and at the right time, he comes out.
What's the name of this team?
We are Risk Assist.
Risk Assists. And who's the leader?
I'm the leader.
That's very brave considering the leader's normally in the firing line.
Very brave indeed.
All right, over to you.
So we are Risk Assist, and we've been going through the merits of the incident that happened recently on the 21st of January. And I think key to highlight right at the beginning is the fact that we do not have a cyber policy in place. And the policy that we do aware that we have in place is a D&O policy, and this is geared to cover wrongful acts by the directors.
So now, I mean, who's responsible for the cost of such poor judgment?
Unfortunately, if we did have a cyber policy in place, it would have covered our media liability, public relations, ransom, and
but we don't.
And unfortunately, we don't. So it's going to have to come off our balance sheet.
So as it stands right now, our share price is down 17.4% from our initial offering amount. That put into perspective is roundabout in excess of 250 million rand in loss in terms of market capitalization.
And counting, right? Because it keeps dropping.
Yes.
By the second.
We need to have a media release statement acknowledging the incident that happened, and to also put the public at ease, letting them know that we are working at this and we are doing the investigation, and once we have finalized our investigation process, we will let the public know where we are at.
But you realize that leaked information includes our IP. I mean, I'm not saying that employing information is not important, but our whole business centers around this vaccine. And if it's in the wrong hands, then what value does our business really have anymore?
It may be alleged that the cyber risk, by virtue of not renewing the cyber policy, it may be viewed that the directors acted negligently or wrongful in that aspect.
Thanks to your recommendation though, right?
Unfortunately so.
And you're all standing here with jobs today.
So in terms of the D&O policy, we have a potential concern in terms of policy response, as it was a deliberate act and decision on the part of the directors to cancel the cyber policy in an environment where cyber attacks are very, very prevalent, and the decision was made to cancel the cyber policy in these circumstances.
But you assured us that we had correct business continuity plans in place, so we didn't need a cyber policy.
With the benefit of hindsight, it seems that our earlier advice was incorrect.
We were worried about the premium on our cyber policy before. I mean, where's this cost going to go now? We've had this incident now.
The hack's still something that occurred at the moment, so it's still the original cause of all the panic, and due to the severity of the nature, we also need to address the hack and the fact what we're going to do. Our intellectual property is in cyberspace, so it is our advice that we immediately appoint people that are adequate with cybersecurity to negotiate the price of the ransom down. We also want to...
Let's just talk about that. Are you recommending that we negotiate with the cyber...
We recommend that we appoint someone that with the expertise, as our internal IT people do not have the necessary expertise, and if we successfully negotiate down the ransom, we might still obtain our IP back, because with the loss of our patent, our whole company, not just our shares, will go under. There is well documented stats that show that if we do pay it, and most people do pay it, we have over 50% chance of claiming our IP back before a breach.
So you're saying if we don't engage with the hackers, then we're just kind of flapping around in the wind. But if we do, at least there's a 50% chance of us...
A little bit more than a 50%.
Stopping the bleeding, so to speak.
Yes.
Okay, it's an interesting approach, I'll give you that.
Okay, so I just want to come back to the directors and officers policy here just for a second. Even though we knowingly didn't take the cyber policy, will the D&O cover still be triggered here?
The D&O may still be triggered. Obviously, it will still leave it to the insurer's view. We do hope that it is triggered because obviously it may be alleged that the cyber incident was a breach of duty in terms of the director's responsibilities.
Who drafted the statement?
I did.
How soon can we get this out, and can you just talk us through what we're trying to communicate here?
Firstly, we are deliberate in the sense that we are acknowledging the fact that we are currently suffering a data breach. The severity of is still under investigation, and then once more information is available at our disposal, we will share it within due course.
Notification should also be made to the information regulator within 72 hours, I believe, of the breach and of the company becoming aware of the breach, and failure to do that could result in
Have we done
No.
this?
This is what we were deliberating about before we came into this meeting. We were still coming up with our strategies on how we are going.
Guys, there's no time to do that when there's a crisis. I'm the information officer. I'm the one that's on the hook for 10 million rand personally for not reporting this. Well, for the breach in the first instance, and if I haven't done what I was supposed to, I could even go to jail. I've got no more questions.
I have to say, this is obviously terrifying for us. This could mean the end of our business. That means we'll all be out of work. I'm not 100% comfortable with what you've told me here today.
You're dismissed.
Today's task was a tough one for me.
I'm proud of myself and confident. I don't know what the outcome will be, but I'm happy with my performance.
I hope I represented my employer well. I hope I did enough.
The team excelled. I don't think I let the team down in any way. I think we did pretty good, and I think we stood a good chance of going through.
Okay, so there's two vastly different approaches there. What do you make of it, Alicia?
Yeah, I think very two different, unique perspectives.
Do you think they want a par? It's just...
No, miles apart. That team was a standout team. You could see that. What we really want to be listening to is what's the next step. There's a sense of urgency that the other team just did not catch for me.
Usually we get thrown curveballs, and I think today was one of those. Did catch me a bit off guard, but I remained grounded and I did my best.
I feel as though I've answered enough and shown enough to say that I should be safe.
This person really stood out, but there was sort of a power struggle there. I don't know if you guys picked up on that.
Yeah, definitely. There was the actual leader and then the person who wanted to be the leader.
Correct.
And they were kind of fighting it out.
I really do feel like I did my best to go through to the next round. I'm just crossing fingers at this point.
I am the eternal optimist. I believe our team won and there is no risk of us going on.
You know, this person didn't do such a bad job. It's just that they didn't come across as well as the other people in that team. And unfortunately, Simon and Knox, that team just lost today.
Feeling slightly nervous in the sense that we don't know what's going to happen. But one thing that kind of reassures me in some way is that the team did pretty good.
But let's not forget, we went from 160 people down to 10. When you get to this level of the competition, you don't wait for somebody to help you out.
After that first round, they definitely took a step back. We didn't hear from them again, and I distinctly remember having to call on them to respond and to come back into the conversation.
Did we deliver fully? I'm not entirely sure. I don't think we answered or ticked every box, but I think we did well.
At the end of the day, I can only do my best, and hopefully that will take me through.
So for me, it's clear who should be the person going home today.
As well, I agree, because there was 160 contestants. There's now 10. You know your place in that team.
All right, so are we in agreement then?
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, tough call, but it's the right call.
All right, let's get them back in here. I just want to bring something to your attention. I mean, this was a really superb task, but I must highlight that everything that you dealt with today was purely fictitious. So if there's any resemblance to anything that's actually going on in the media, it's pure coincidence. I'm going to hand over now to our guest judge, Alicia, just to give us some feedback on what she saw today. Alicia?
Thank you, Simon. We definitely had an exciting day with the Insurance Apprentice, I must say. So I think from both groups, what I saw from the task was really just a lack of urgency, to be honest. I mean, in our experience, it really has shown that the first 48 hours are absolutely critical, especially dealing with something like a cyber incident. And for me, the fact that the teams were scrambling after not renewing the cyber policy, no incident response team off the back of an insurance policy, what that really means is delays in responding to the incident. And I said it before, I'll say it again, the buck stops with the board. The board are personally liable for the decisions that are made. So I think as financial lines underwriters, we really need to consider all the risks that we are facing in businesses today. We really wanted you to consider all consequential losses, both for the company and for the board itself. And I mean, for me, I found that one team did that very well, whilst on the other hand, the other team was completely lacking its substance.
Thanks, Alicia. Knox?
You're all very good, right? You really are. But good isn't good enough. You really can't just rely on that. You need to use each task as an opportunity to show us why you deserve to be here. Otherwise, you very well might not be.
One of the things that we did differently today was we received your presentation materials beforehand, and you walked in here expecting to do a presentation, but you got absolutely hit with a barrage of questions, which meant you couldn't get into your stride. And actually real meetings are like that, particularly when there's a crisis, and more particularly when there's personal liability at stake. We get stuck in the fact that in insurance we've issued a piece of paper, often forgetting that there's people on the other side of this transaction whose lives are going to be dramatically affected by the outcome of the incident. And you have to have that empathy. And we just didn't get it. Marissa, it felt like you had a whole bunch of technical knowledge, but you just weren't sharing the information with us. We practically had to drag it out of you. And I have to say, if it wasn't for the fact that you had 2 other team members in your group that lifted the game, I think you would have been in danger of leaving today. But on that note, I have to congratulate Team 2, Risk Assist, because you are the winners today, meaning all of you are safe. Regrettably, this means, of course, that Team 1, aptly named Risky Biz, one of you face the possibility of elimination today. Carl and Christopher, I don't know what was going on between the 2 of you, but it felt like there were 2 leaders in the group and that you both had this very different idea of the direction that things should be taken in. Deirdre, you had the unfortunate position of having to speak first, and unfortunately you appeared to just kind of withdraw after the first few questions. But what really disappointed me, Christopher, as the leader of the group, is that eventually you came to Deirdre's aid, but not after she sustained 5 or 6 direct hits from this table here. Leadership is so important in our industry, in our country, and obviously in this competition. And a good leader, I don't believe, would allow that to happen. Is it the leader's fault that somebody flounders and they don't jump in to rescue them? Or is it up to each individual to step up and come back into the game? Especially given that we're down to the top 10 in this competition. Our decision was unanimous. And regrettably, the first person to leave the Insurance Apprentice 2023 is Deirdre. Deirdre, you're out of the competition. You're dismissed. Now, I don't know if any of you were surprised today, perhaps even shocked. Even though this was the first task, it was an extremely tough one. That should give you some inkling of what's coming over the next 6 weeks. I've said it so many times, but you have to bring your A game every single day as we move through this competition. There are no second chances, there are no wild cards. I'll see you all in the next task. You're dismissed.
I don't think I was given enough opportunity, and if we refer back to the presentation, there was enough time that I was trying to speak and someone else was speaking as well.
Did you feel like she was struggling? Did you feel as though like...
So when she started, when I could hear that she was missing the mark, that's when I stepped in.
That's when you stepped in. So up until that point, you thought she was complete. She was doing well.
To my mind, she was fine. Yeah,
I agree.
She was holding her own. So.
And yeah, I think also during the introduction, all of the questions came to me. The attack was on me, basically, and I don't feel everybody else got the rest of that.
I think it's quite tough on the apprentices. I get it, but I really hope that they take the feedback that we give them as the learning curve that it's supposed to represent, because that's what's going to separate the resilient ones from the ones that are just going to fall by the wayside.
Being a leader, because you feel like you're responsible for how good or bad the situation is going to go. So
I feel super responsible for this. As a leader, you do feel responsible for someone else's elimination. When we stepped into this, our first task, it was we want to do well, we wanted to be the best. And for someone in my team to have gone home, yes, I do feel a bit of responsibility for that.
But yeah, I think maybe if I'd probably tackled another aspect, probably would have had another opportunity to answer more questions.
Thank you to you and of course to SHA for really coming through with us on this task. I think it was a great start to the competition.
And it's not getting any easier after this.
It's only going to get tougher. So thank you again to you and SHA. Right, that concludes the first task. 1 down and 8 to go.